Cooper and Lucy's relationship came to an obvious conclusion. From what I can see, it looks like Cooper is going to be taking in Miss McLean, teaching her a thing or two when it comes to wastelanding. Watching their dynamic from start to finish in season 1 was satisfying. The growth and the evolution both go through was intriguing. Coop becomes more empathetic towards her, and she becomes more experienced, wiser, and jaded, like the Ghoul. And I believe the heart of the show lies in their intricate dynamic. They're portrayed with depth and complexity, forming a fun and captivating duo. Cooper's flashbacks is used effectively as the show goes on to give us, the viewer, an understanding of what happened, and it helps us explain why he is the way he is. We learned that he was Vault-Tec's mascot, even coming up with the signature Vault Boy thumbs up. And all I gotta do is act. He begins to be skeptical and annoyed.
For us, are the blue jumpsuits, are those mandatory? What if I don't want to wear a blue jumpsuit? What if I want to wear a green one?
His eventual disillusionment with Vault-Tec likely led to media backlash and a strained marriage, explaining why he wasn't in a vault during the bombs. This is still a massive question mark given how things went down on that fateful day. We will not talk about that in any more detail. That said, it was sad to hear that, on one hand, movie producers were no longer hiring him for work because of the partnership he has with Vault-Tec. Then, his later friction with Vault-Tec led to more media backlash. To top everything off, he literally hears his wife suggesting that Vault-Tec should launch nukes in order to ensure the vaults are used. I can only imagine what was running through his head when he, with his daughter, saw the detonations just a few miles away. Lucy, on the other hand, was a vaultie through and through, and we understood right away what kind of character development she was going to go through. She was going to have her own idea for the world, only for that same world to spit in her face. She'd see that everything that was taught to her in the vaults were a big fat lie, and if she wanted to find the truth, she would need to rid herself of Vault-Tec's teachings and dogma. Her transformation was like Coop pre-war. They both had family members involved with Vault-Tec, and in both cases, they were betrayed by this family member. And it was Moldaver who set both of them on this quest for the truth. That was nicely done. Now, we see at the end of season 1, both the Ghoul and Lucy are venturing together to chase her father, or moreover, to get the answers they are both looking for. But to reinforce the points of their transformation, let's delve into some key details and interactions in the show and break them down. Starting things off with the Ghoul, one of the things we notice is his cowboy persona. Is this him, or is he using this to cope with the world he now lives in? This idea suggests that when he first awoke as a Ghoul, he must have been traumatized and or scared. Again, because there are so many details missing regarding, let's say, his first 100 years wastelanding, take everything I say with a grain of salt. I'm speculating and therefore just tugging on heartstrings to see what sticks and what makes sense given we only have season 1 as concrete proof. Now that said, it would not be far-fetched to believe that in many cases, he was like Lucy when she emerged from the vault. He was probably concerned with others and their well-being while wrestling with the idea that his wife's company may have started all of this. Then of course we know he is looking for his family. So how were they separated? And what happened to Janie? All of these are questions I'm not delving into, given my thoughts on this would be delusional. Regardless, I'm sure we could all understand that Coop waking up as a Ghoul would have been a terrifying experience. From learning that he is now a monster to now living in a world with new rules and knowing that maybe everyone he once knew is now gone, his mind would be chock full of questions and there would be no one to give him the answers. So back to the cowboy persona. I think, like what we see in the show, the ads and the videos that survived reminded Cooper of a simple time when he was making Hollywood movies as a cowboy. Given what had happened to LA, it's not too crazy to imagine that this would now be the Wild West. And in order to survive, he would need to act like a lawless cowboy. Again, there are no rules anymore. The only thing that mattered was survival. Someone mentioned in a Reddit thread that he continues to speak with a cowboy accent, although that's not how Cooper Howard actually speaks. Additionally, he still wears the cowboy attire beneath his jacket. Obviously, he has the hat, and he utilizes his cowboy skills as we see his fight with Maximus. I also like to push this further by saying the cowboy persona allows him to distance himself from Vault-Tec. His pre-war transition, simplified, was cowboy movie star to Vault-Tec mascot, then back to cowboy persona. It reflects his innocence, then his realization of the company Vault-Tec, and finally his transformation. He went back to what he would consider safe. And we get a bit of a preview regarding how he feels about Vault-Tec when one of the parents asks him to do the thumbs up.
Coop, do your thumbs up.
We see the reluctance and the unsettling feeling this brings forth. So now, reawakening as a ghoul, I think he uses the cowboy lifestyle to show himself that he is not Vault Boy, nor is he associated with the quote-unquote bad guys. He is just a man, or more like a ghoul, trying to find answers. I think everything he learned pre-war was devastating, so when he became a ghoul initially, he was a wreck. But then enter Lucy. She shows him some compassion and exhibits an indomitable will to get what she is after, despite the fact that she has experienced some of the nasty aspects of the world that even ruined Coop. Sure, their experiences aren't exactly the same, but that said, she, like him, was naive, yet this wasteland did not shatter her will. Instead, she overcame it and decided to come to her own truth regarding this new world. I do want to say that Lucy is obviously the protagonist, so having her overcome this obstacle was going to be the big challenge, and she needed to do it because she was the main character. But the writers did it in a way that was fitting for the story, and it didn't seem forced. I also like to point out that she didn't do it alone. As mentioned earlier, Moldaver encouraged this search for the truth, and the ghoul at the very end was willing to help her get there. Her transformation was evident from beginning to end. From being mocked by Ma June to being able to save Coop and rescuing Maximus, she was constantly growing without changing who she was. The bridge scene, although it did not turn out the way she expected, was proof of this, that despite being held captive by some ghouls, she was still willing to use her charisma to try and resolve the issue. Then in Vault 4, if anything, again proving to Maximus and us the viewers, staying true to who you are can pay off. Yeah, the Vault did have some weird traditions, but Lucy's open-mindedness to friendly people was not wrong. Sure, it was a bit strange, but it does not take away from the fact that her values still held some merit. The most fun is when we see Lucy and Cooper interact. When the two of them are together, the few conversations we have offer us some more context and better understanding of Cooper and how he views Lucy. He compels her into performing morally questionable and perilous acts, warning her that she will eventually mirror his own path. And I love that he taunts her at her most vulnerable. He goes on to say this.
Oh, I'm you, sweetie. You just give it a little time.
All of this to say that this is just pointing to their opposing opinions. And although at the very end, she doesn't become 100% like the ghoul, she does become more experienced and wise with regards to the world she now lives in. But there's more to it. She embodies aspects of his former self, a person who hesitated to resort to violence, as seen in his reluctance to shoot a man in the movie because it wasn't his thing. This is something we see happen to Lucy as she frees some of the feral ghouls. Martha, in particular, pulled on Lucy's heartstrings, as she can hear her chanting her name, preventing her from becoming feral. But then this happens. Obviously, we see her take out raiders in the beginning, but that was to protect her vault. This was different. She had freed them for a reason, and then unfortunately had to take them out. So yeah, in a way, Cooper was right. She is him, and he is her, and that they are struggling to understand the world they live in. As we reach episode 8, they once again meet at the end of it all. But at this point, Cooper has seen enough of Lucy to understand that her journey mirrors his own one way or another, prompting him to reevaluate how he perceives her. He recognizes her resilience and newfound understanding, offering emotional support he's lacked for centuries. There are obviously big gaps in the ghoul's story, but I feel having a companion such as Lucy, someone who at least understands what he is feeling, will make for a fun storytelling session, like a few episodes, similar to the experiences with Joel and Ellie in the Last of Us TV series. Their bond will continue to grow as more and more mysteries of the wasteland are revealed to them. To conclude this video, I just want to say I like this transition for both of them. The realizations and the empathy shared between them is a nice touch. I think I said it best when I compared them to Joel and Ellie from The Last of Us. I enjoyed the initial bitterness from the grumpy, more experienced person and the naive, innocent personality of their companion. And that is gonna do it for me in this one, guys. Let me know what you think. I tried to jam-pack this video with as many details as I could have. I know there are many other instances that show their juxtaposition in terms of character development, but I didn't want to make this video too long. So let me know what you guys think. How do you feel about Lucy and Cooper's transformation? Do you agree that the ghoul will take more of a mentor role, or are they just going to get at each other's throats? Again, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like and sub for more Fallout content. I'll see ya in the next one. Bye.